Yeah, welcome to Bullion Bulletin, Mr. Sergey Nenashev from Russia. He is executive director of one of the largest Russian bank, VTB Capital. He is heading the precious metals department. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Bullion Bulletin. I like to congratulate you for having the best emerging supplier award yesterday given by IIGC committee.
Thank you very much. As I said yesterday, they gave me the award. That it's on behalf of VTB Group, VTB Bank, and on behalf of course, Precious Metals team in Moscow. We are honored. We are really happy to receive this award, and I think we're here to stay in India with your permission, developing new products, making the customers happy, and of course, it's due to the customer, their support, that we won this award. Thank you.
Precious metals market, basically the physical precious metals market in Russia. How much Russia is producing silver, how much it is gold. Obviously, Russia is famous for platinum and palladium, but we should concentrate more on the silver and the gold side. So just give us a brief count, what is the current market size and how much Russia could supply, especially to India.
The Russian market for gold and silver is fairly steady. It's growing. Last year it grew so much that Russia became the second biggest supplier of gold, producing about 290 tons of gold in total. And this year, according to the Ministry of Finance and the statistics, I think it should grow by moderately, but by about 3%. So we're talking about something shy of 300, just under 300 tons of gold. In terms of silver, Russia produces around 1,700 tons of gold. It's been steady in the top 10 producers over many years, and I think that part, of course, can be supplied, or at least most of it can be supplied to the Indian market, the real off-taker, rather than going to our clearing accounts in London. In terms of demand, physical demand, for gold, CBR Central Bank of Russia, plays a large part in the offtake of metal domestically. That's why not a lot is being exported at the moment. According to our estimates, it's between 120, 150 tons they buy on an annual basis, half of the production, and I think it's there to stay. The rest, jewelry, probably 20, 30 tons in total. It's not as much as, of course, as it is in India, but it's a significant amount for the Russian market. The rest is sometimes being exported and used in other industrial applications in Russia. So we are talking about 300 tons. We supply to the Indian market both out of Russia and from the international markets as well, collect, because at the moment it's not obviously enough in Russia, but it is possible that in future we could increase direct supplies out of Russia to the Indian market, and we are working on that, working on the new products, working on developing kilobars 995, whatever is taken by the Indian market. Silver, again, we are trying to supply. Last year we supplied about more than 650 tons from various locations, including Russia. From Russia we normally fly metal by air to the Indian, to all the locations, and internationally we take and deliver by sea. So we expect this year to be around probably 1,000 tons to deliver to the Indian market.
Out of 1,700 tons, you are capable, okay, you are supplying from the different parts of the world. So out of the Russia, how much you are supplying?
Out of the Russia, I think we supplied last year about 250, 300 tons. A bit slow out of Russia for the reason that it's logistically, it's better to supply through, because if we ship it by sea in 20-foot containers, or 20-ton containers, then it takes longer, and logistically it's not viable to do it from Russia. It's only flies by air, and by air, of course, the premiums are very competitive. Our premiums beat those by air from London, of course, but it's still delivering in the volumes of 5-10 tons. That's why we allocate only about 300, maybe 400 tons out of Russia at the moment. By sea, it's going from the international locations.
So it is really significant as far as your supply is concerned. Since VTB, you have started supplying into Indian market only 2 years back. So it is really significant amount you are supplying right now. What are the other services that VTB Capital is providing inside Moscow? Can it be possible to introduce the same in Indian markets?
These markets, our markets, differ quite significantly. So we provide full spectrum, of course, from hedging to linked deposits to commodities. I do not think that's the requirement from an international supply of bullion in India. In India, I think we're planning, apart from the consignment basis, to develop our lending capabilities, and we're working with that with the banks and some of the corporates. I understand they are not allowed at this stage to do that, but they're working hard with the RBI, I think, to sort that out. So we are doing that, and then we are working on several new products, I think, which might help the situation in India, I think, with the impact on USD, I think. So if it works, it'll be really great. I will not say that now, but we're seriously considering some new products which have not been used on this market before, not been offered by other bullion banks.
It's really good news for Indian market. How is the investment market in Russia?
About the investment market, for the last 10 years, until last year or the year before, 13, it was a steady market. We have unallocated bullion accounts, which are offered to the both corporates and individuals. Very popular, yes, and they were used, of course. And gold was going higher, and ruble was stable, so everything was going absolutely fine. But now, for the second year running, I think, according to our statistics as well and survey, there have been some redemptions, significant, and I think it's between 25 and 20% redemptions in the bullion unallocated accounts. Of course, we understand the facts, the reasons behind that, because gold is, although it's performing well in ruble due to the ruble weakening, recent ruble weakening, it's still in dollar terms. It's not providing that cover the investors require, and for that reason, they're just redeeming their bullion accounts. It's also maybe partly because it is not covered by the insurance scheme we have in Russia, I think, covering all the normal currency deposits. So if something happens to a bank, then it is not covered by the insurance. So bullion accounts, this is a drawback, I think, and we were trying to resolve that. But unfortunately, all the currency deposits are covered by the insurance, but bullion accounts, they are not. So at the moment, I'm afraid it's not good for, in terms of investment for gold in Russia, because although, as I said, it's well, if it doesn't shine, then it's performing really well due to the weakening of the ruble. But still, I have an asset which is non-performing in dollar terms. Plus, it's not interest-bearing, so you do not have any interest. And in addition, it's not covered by the insurance. So it's a tough time for the investors. Whether, well, some of them might start adding now, but I think for the last 2 years, there have been some redemptions, about 15-20% generally.
Since Russia has a very strong mining history and still mining significant amount of all the precious metals, including platinum and palladium, basically. So still we have not seen a very strong physical market for precious metals. Why is it so?
Strong physical markets in what terms?
What is the jewelry demand in Russia?
Jewelry demand is nearly always imported a lot, and there is some jewelry which manufactures there, but I think the Russian demand for jewelry from the individuals is not as great as there's no craze about jewelry in Russia as it is in India. We do not have wedding seasons, we do not have festival season, so the offtake, the buying capacity is not as strong as it is here. So it's probably about 20 tons, I think, in total.
Question is that only.
Yeah,
it's physical demand.
It's tradition. It's tradition. I think it's not viewed as something that you have to have in larger quantities. Jewelry as it is here. You can see that I'm not wearing in my wedding band is not here. See, I've got no jewelry. Not here. Not here. Not here. So it's a cultural, I think, yes. Although of course every girl wants to have as many jewelry items as well, but there's certain, I don't know, they can stop at any time and say, yeah, I have 10, 20 or something like that. There's no craziness about that. There's no real Well, some people have that affection, but I think generally, if you look across the whole country, then it's not as strong. It's not at all as strong as it is in India. So that's the reason why it's only 20 tons, I think, goes to the jewelry.
Russian central bank has been buying gold for its reserve. It's a very strong buy. Every month Russia is buying gold, what we have been seeing. So according to you, what is the motive behind this continuous buying from the central bank?
It doesn't increase the valuation of the ruble, really. It just provides the reserves, and I think this is the right time probably to scale down buying. So at the moment, nobody can blame them that if they have the funds, they should really keep on increasing the reserves. But I think it's largely viewed by the government, of course, and by everyone that it's something which the country simply has to have. If you look at the history, I think, and the UK, when they were selling, of course, gold before in some other countries as well, redeeming their holdings by the central banks, and then after that, I think that was at the lowest level. So I think the government still thinks that it's still, you have to. It's been going on for about 10 years, over 10 years, I think, and year after year, I think the reserves, they do accumulate, they do add to the reserves. As opposed to China, at least we publish that all the time. So Chinese, they don't do it quite regularly. Only recently we know that they still bought 19 or
1,500 tons they said, but it is
that's
not
right. That's right. Yeah. So I don't think that it'll change this year. But we might see if it depends, of course, on the proportion of the reserve. Traditionally, they want to keep about 10% in bullion. If it is over 10%, then I still doubt that there will be some redemptions, but maybe something will change next year.
And how about this conference? How you enjoyed this time?
Well, conference has been great. I think you can see that it's probably well, it's down to the location, I guess, that so many people are here. You did go, I think, several times, I think, but that was years ago. And it's a great location. It's a great place, great facilities, I think. All the exhibitors are here, and it's a great place to meet people, all the customers. When you do, I'm talking on behalf of international supply, of course, but it's a good opportunity for the local market, of course, to get together. And I think it's going. I've been to several of them. It's going stronger and stronger, and it's more and more attracted to the participants of the market, I think, Indian. Thank you very much for your hospitality, and it's been organized brilliantly, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much.